Hey, yo, and here we go. Another episode of We Talk Music on the air and in your ear. Once again, I am Morten and joined by the king of the casters, Mr. Brett Podcast. Man, how does a person get a name like podcast and then end up working on a podcast? It's just unbelievable.
It is. It's really ironic and a good coincidence, but at the same time, I will take it. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I shortened my birth name. It was Podcastroni, but I went down to podcast, and so it's great. But we're not here to talk about my birth name or anything like that. We are here to talk to two fine gentlemen. We have Joey and Matt from Sweet Corvette. Guys, how are you doing?
Doing great. And looking forward to this all week.
Well, that's good. That's one person who's looking forward to talking to us. Yes. Anyways, Sweet Corvette. I mean, you guys are releasing new singles, and you've got some great music that's coming out. So first off, let's just so Footrace was the latest single that you released. So let's talk about that one first. And that one, you guys have a great sense of humor, and it's a ton of fun to listen to your music. So like, where did it all come from? And let's talk, and let's just break into the music here.
Yeah. Footrace. It started with an idea where, growing up, I had a really good friend, and whenever he didn't like someone or, just other kids like around the playground, he'd be like, that motherfucker can't beat me fighting, fucking, or in a foot race. So I just thought, and like when I'm writing songs, I'm like, why did I remember that for over 30 years or whatever, since we were little kids? I've always just remembered that in my fighting, fucking, and foot. I'm like, I guess I'm going to write a song about fighting, fucking, and foot race. So there you go.
A love song, right?
It's a love song.
Yeah, because it's one of those cases where you try to listen to it and you try to go through all the lyrics, and then it's just like, wait a minute, what are they singing about?
Yeah, foot race isn't a term used nowadays.
That's for sure.
Well, that's what makes it even funnier. A lot of my friends' lines were from his 90-year-old grandfather, so he probably used the word foot race.
Yeah, those are always the best lines. It's Texas and then 90-year-old grandfathers, I think.
Yeah.
And this was in Ohio, where we're originally from, so it's like, getting close to Canada, actually.
Yeah, a little bit. Yes, not close to us, but
other side. I used to go up to the Kingdom, all that area. Is that where it's up there? Yeah. And when I was 19, to be able to drink, and because you could leave the United States, drink early.
Yeah,
we used to make the pilgrimage around Lake Erie from Cleveland and around through Detroit, and then we crossed the border, and we were 19 and we could drink.
Yeah. It was good stuff.
And then hope that we didn't.
Crazy. I forget that you guys can't drink till you're 21. That's amazing. Legally. That brings up a good question. How long have you guys known each other?
It's funny. It's a funny story. He's from Massillon, Ohio. I'm from North Canton, Ohio. We're right next to each other. Did not know each other in Ohio. Moved out to Los Angeles after I finished audio engineering school. Moved to Los Angeles in 99. A couple of months later, the guy that's my roommate, these guys, him and his brother, end up on my couch. And I'm like, who are these guys? What are they on my couch? He didn't even ask.
Poor Matt. Like we had a mutual friend, and he said, my brother and I were in a band, and we were like talking about moving to LA. We were talking about moving to New York. And he was like, don't go to New York. You just move to LA. You can come crash with us until you get a place. So and it was like, as soon as I finished school, and I was like, we're going to LA, and we just drove out here, never been here. We had a U-Haul with all our gear in it. And we just showed up at the friend that said you can crash on our couch. We get there. Turns out it wasn't even his apartment. He was already crashing.
He was already crashing
the couch at Matt's apartment. And Matt and his roommate come home, and like now instead of two people crashing in their living room, there's four. And he's just looking at us like, what is going on?
But so I was in a band at the time, and we had set to play. There used to be a venue on Melrose called The Gig. It was like a really cool showcase venue. and my band was set up to play. And two of the guys got in an accident on the highway on the way there, and we had a contract to play that night. And I'm like, half the band isn't there. We can't play. What are we going to do? And we have to pay them like $500 or something stupid if we don't do a no-show. It was crazy. So they're like, why don't we just perform? We never performed before. We get up on stage. It was nuts. His brother was the singer, and he like takes off all his clothes. He's in his underwear, puts the microphone through the little area in your underwear and is singing through that, jumps off the stage onto the bar, knocks off every drink on the whole bar, does the worm across it. And we're told we're never going to be allowed back there again. The owner heard it and he's like, that was the most punk rock thing I've ever seen. I don't care what they said. We want you to be the house band. And we became the house band we played there once a month for like 4 months. And then we worked on our music and stuff. And then, so I've been playing with him. The other band was called The Alibi. I played with from 99 up until, a long time. Yeah. But
almost 20 years.
So I've known him forever. Yeah.
So then what prompted, in this case, you to, Matt, move to Six Gun Sal and stuff like that, and then eventually come back here with Sweet Corvette?
Yeah, the thing that happened with that, we were like doing local gigs, the Alibi around town, and I'd known the drummer from Six Gun Sal, Joey, and he kept on coming over. He's like, we're getting gigs. We could pay you. So I'm like, pay? What? So we did a couple festivals with them, and I was like, I was just gonna, help out at first, but then it turned into like 7 years of playing with them, and it was a good run on everything. But I mean, I brought a lot of direct bass playing, because I'm a bass player, to Six Gun Sal. Instead of it being traditional like Southern rock, it was my part was different. Some of the other stuff was a little different, which made a little bit of a different sound in the Southern rock world. So but deep down inside, I've always been like a driving punk rock bassist. I love that tone. And that's why when we started this project back up again, I'm like, I'm in. So yeah.
So I played guitar. We had the Alibi going, and he was doing both bands for a few years, right?
Yeah.
Alibi and Six Gun Sal. And then we had like the whole COVID blur.
Yeah.
And then my brother, who was the singer of the Alibi, passed away.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really do music for about a year and a half after that, because I was like, I was the guitarist, he sang. So
yeah.
Then you get the itch. You've been doing it your whole life. So I got back in and started writing songs, and I'm like, I guess I got to be the front man now. So here.
Was that hard for you to kind of wrap your head around actually starting to sing, and how did you figure out, I'm good enough to sing this stuff?
I just started. I had a bunch of songs that I had recorded, like all the guitar parts and some of the bass, and then Matt came in and was playing some of the bass, and I was just like, I'm just going to go for it. I mean, I always knew I could sing. I just never had done it on a stage at that point. So yeah, it seems like it's going fine. We'll see.
It feels like a new band, but we've been doing this forever. But that's the story from every band. It's like, and whenever you start a new one, it's like to everybody else, it's like this new thing. But we've had this chemistry forever. Our lead guitarist, Luis Lopez, he was my tech in Six Gun Sal. So for years and years, I'm like, dude, you shred. I'm like, you need to come into this project. And he's the best bud. He's like, you're good friends with your tech. It's like the best bud. And I'm so happy he's in the band, because he brings in the whole like thrasher,
whole
metal
energy,
metal side, and we got the punk side. And then our drummer David Iba, we had another drummer that recorded with us, and he's an engineer and a producer, and he's just too busy to be doing what we want to do. So he's like, you should find somebody else to do it, So reached out to a couple of friends, bands, and said, do you know people? And David just happens to live pretty close to us, and amazing drummer. He knows all music theory. He's probably the best like musical guy in the whole band. He's like he went to school for composing music and all kinds of stuff. He's like the best addition to add in. He can do anything. And it's like he walked in the first day with like 6 of our songs, and played them perfect. We're like, he charted them all out. I'm like, I'm not used to that, you know.
Yeah, he came in like a real pro. And that was audition number 3.
Yeah. Not the other ones.
there was another good one, but then there was another really weird audition.
Oh, the guy who works in front. Oh, I'm not even going to say it because he might listen.
He was a sweetheart.
He was a sweetheart.
Yeah, it's interesting. Juan and I were talking earlier, and I compared, the early parts of your music to Manitoba's Wild Kingdom. I don't know if you remember them, but Handsome Dick Manitoba from the Dictators and Ross the Boss from the Dictators and later Manowar. And so they came together, and it had that similar sound, like you talk about having like a heavy metal guitarist and then a punk singer and ethos, that kind of thing. So it
took me a second to realize what you were talking about there, but yeah, 100%. And the Dictators, I still see them around all the time. They're out doing stuff again. You don't see Manowar as much as you used to, but I didn't even put that together. Yeah, but yeah, they took like the 80s, and like added the whole attitude of punk with it and stuff, and they were hilarious too with their outfits and stuff. Yeah, I'm glad you saw that. What do we get a lot? We get lately it's been like Turbo Negro.
Oh yeah.
And with Footrace, a couple people have told us that, which is awesome because I saw them at Sweden Rock a couple of years ago, and they just were amazing live, almost better than the album. And I love it when a band's better than the album. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we love punk rock, but like, let's be honest, like when I was a kid, I had older sisters and their boyfriends would come over, and we were just getting drilled with like Motley Crue, Poison, Van Halen, all of it. So it's like I love all the classic 80s rock too. So like it's punk rock in a sense, but at the same time, like there's a lot of just ripping guitar solos in there with it too. So
yeah, and that's why I say more Manitoba's Wild Kingdom as opposed to the Dictators, because it's just like they moved on. They added that ridiculous 80s sensibility. And I mean, we all love the 80s sensibility. So, and heck, I mean, when you tell us your story, that's what it sounds like. Moving in, that's the Sunset Strip story right there, moving into somebody or, crashing on the floor with a bunch of people that you don't know. I mean,
it was a rough neighborhood too.
Yeah.
Like I pulled up, I'm like, is that their apartment? There was a shotgun.
Yeah,
in the window. And I walk in, he's like, we're just sending a message. Don't rob this house.
Yeah, because we'd get, this was in Van Nuys before they gentrified that area. And literally there'd be like some crackhead that would, at like 3 a.m, start knocking on our door, trying to sell us a bike or something that he stole off the road. And it's like, no, we don't want this anymore. So let's put this up here so they know not to come here. I think it wasn't even a shotgun. It was like a BB gun.
It was hard to swallow because like that apartment, like the rent was like 6 times what we were paying in Ohio.
Yeah. And it was ghetto as could be. Yeah. LA for you. Yeah. I remember Ohio, you could rent a 2-bedroom apartment for like $150 back then.
Oh, yeah.
It was insane. But that's why everybody leaves Ohio, because there's not really anything in Ohio. So.
Yeah, I get that. It's so interesting, right? Because like, how do you feel like about the fact that you've moved to LA? Are you very happy with the choice, and especially like the locale to start Sweet Corvette?
Oh yeah.
I love it here. It's perfect.
When we came up with the logo, it's pretty much, looks like a California license plate, and it's just like, it works perfect. I mean, I don't know if I probably didn't tell you this when we were on the boat together, because people listening right now, I met Brett on the Monsters of Rock cruise this year, and we were holding the row, getting ready to go on for that was Rose Tattoo, and
yeah.
And I was even sticking there earlier to see Hartford Superstar. We were really holding the rope.
Yes.
But amazing show. But there was randomly, I'm walking around. I put on this Sweet Corvette shirt. I'm out walking around and I see another dude with a Sweet Corvette shirt. One of my shirts, one of our shirts. And I'm like, what the heck? Because we had not really done a lot of advertising at that point. I walk up to him. I'm like, nice shirt. And he's like, nice shirt. I'm like, where'd you get this? He's like, it's a nice shirt. I ordered it online. And I'm like, do you know it's a band? And he's like, no, I collect Corvettes. He didn't even know. He just thought it was a cool shirt and bought it because
we had zero marketing. I just like designed it on a website where you can they basically print them and sell them for you.
Yeah.
And this guy just like found it.
Yeah. How random.
Found it randomly and then like runs into Matt.
I'm friends with him on Facebook now. He just completely redid a 1963 Corvette. It's gorgeous.
Oh wow.
He's really that Corvette guy, you know. Need to get his car.
Yeah. Your other unofficial logo, I guess, is the little girl giving us the finger. So there's always that.
Oh, there's a story behind that too. Yeah,
that's my daughter. My daughter was 3 years old and got stung by a bee on her middle finger, and I was like sitting on the front porch, and she comes running up to me crying, and she holds it up, and she's like, "I got stung by a bee," and I, being the perfect dad I am, I'm like, "Hold on!" I pulled my phone out and took that picture. Knew it. I've been hanging on to it. She's now she turns 14 next week, but I had to get her approval. I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to use this picture for the artwork of a couple of our singles. And she's like, oh yeah, do it. Yeah, no problem.
So then the next single that you've got coming out, I think Matt, you'd mentioned it's going to be Unbreakable or Unstoppable. Wow.
Yeah.
Unstoppable. Yes. And so that one's a Sia cover. And so you had told me that you had to get all the permission. So I'm really interested in what it takes for a band to go ahead and get, and do a cover like that.
He's better.
Yeah. So
yeah.
As long as you don't change any lyrics, it's very easy. I didn't do it, I guess, the proper way. I just recorded it and completed the whole song, and I'm like, I'll figure out if I'm allowed to release it or not. But we published through DistroKid, and basically it just takes longer for it to get to Spotify because you submit it to them, tell them it's a cover of whichever song it is, and then they go get the permission from the original artist.
Yeah.
And it was approved in less than a week. So
but you submit your own music.
The problem is they said,
day. Yeah.
According to the guy that co-produces and mixes all our music, he said if you start changing lyrics around and doing too much like lyrically, then it becomes a bigger issue and can get not approved or take forever. So
yeah, it's interesting because obviously you see a lot of bands that do covers. I think of Kiss doing God Gave Rock and Roll to You Too, where they did change quite a bit. So it would be interesting to see the hoops that they had to jump through for that one.
It might have been different back then too. Mm-hmm. I think every I think about all the Weird Al songs that came out, and now getting those approvals on those type of things, probably from any other artist trying to be a parody artist, they probably can't get it. But back then nobody paid attention. I think he only got turned down I think Madonna turned him down on one or something. I can't remember.
Turned him down. Prince turned him down too.
Prince it was, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense. There's some people.
It's to be made a mockery of.
Yeah. Well, we all know how Prince was.
Amazing artist, but yes, there's no question.
I think he's a guy who had a great sense of humor. I didn't get that vibe from him. So
remember all those, what was it, Dave Chappelle doing all the funny stuff with him in the early days?
Prince is great. Yeah. Amazing songwriter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Musician. Maybe the single most talented musician ever. Name an instrument, he played it brilliantly. Everything.
Play everything.
Yeah, that My Guitar Gently Weeps thing that he did. Unbelievable.
And Tom Petty.
I think he did that to make sure that he told everybody that, I should be up there. and in the guitar world, because he kept on getting overlooked. So didn't even rehearse like with them for it or anything, and they're all just looking at him. I remember watching that, and they're all like, "Is he ever going to end?" And then he throws up the guitar and it disappears. It never comes down. Where did it go? Mythical.
So then, when we talk about Sweet Corvette and the shows that you're doing, like, what should people expect from your shows?
It's exactly what you hear in the music. It's high energy, start to finish. It's a wild time. It's a wild time.
Chaos is what you're saying.
It's controlled chaos. Yes.
Controlled chaos. There you go.
Like organized confusion.
Organized confusion. Yes.
Controlled chaos. Of course.
Organized confusion, controlled chaos. These are good song titles, guys. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We'll have to give you guys a cut.
That's right.
Please.
Or the alibi organized confusion.
Yeah, we have to. I don't think we ever released that one.
No, it's unreleased.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of that Spotify money, right?
Oh yeah.
The 1/100th of a cent.
Yes. So
I've used Spotify as radio. You know what I mean? At this point, you know what I mean? It's like I think you really, if you want to make money in the music industry, you have to find other ways.
It's merch, everything like that. And that's why we're trying to get shows like every couple weeks out here. And it's like, we're starting to do that. It's like, we have bunches of shows coming up, and it's, hopefully we're not oversaturating, but we have to sell some merch or we don't make any money. So, so where are you going to do that? At a show.
Yeah. So then,
get a shirt of your daughter giving you the finger. Is that available? Is that?
We should actually.
That's the next shirt actually coming. That's in the
okay. You would totally wear that.
design phase.
Yeah.
So how do you guys go about getting your shows?
Matt has been he's been our tour manager. He's been
yeah,
booking
it's a lot of work. During my regular day job, I'm sitting there all day, like messaging promoters and being like, "Hey, look what we're doing. We got this coming up. Look, our numbers went up on this. We've got this many people on TikTok. We've got this many people." You have to sell it, you know, and then come and let us play. And then we go and play, and they're like, "Oh, we should have put you guys on later. You guys rock." That's always the story. It's like, well, I told you that. First time you play at a venue or whatever, new group, they're like, "You're going on at 6:00. Unless I know somebody, and I know people at the Whiskey. I always make sure we don't do the Whiskey often because it's a difficult venue for shows for local bands. But we always make sure there's going to be a really big headliner, and we're going to be direct support for them. We did that for our first live gig was the Eclipse gig at the Whiskey, and it was sold out. Amazing. It was fun hanging out with the guys from Eclipse. Amazing dudes. And being on right before them is amazing, you know, because everybody's there at that point. So, yeah, we're doing that again with Crazy Licks in September. We're going to do direct support for them. They never come to the U.S., so whenever they do, we try.
That should be a wild night.
Yeah, it'll be.
Yeah, musically they're quite different. So I mean, but I think there's probably some underlying, genes that are fit together, though.
Yeah. Maybe more in Crazy Licks than Eclipse. Yeah, I talked with the guys from Eclipse because we're big hardcore superstar fans, and everybody from Sweden's big fan of them too. And it's a very different type of stage both of them play when Crazy Licks or Eclipse or hardcore superstar. It's like they might be at the same venues, but it's like different energy. So, yeah.
And the hardcore superstar song is
We Don't Celebrate Mondays. Which one?
I don't know. I was waiting for you to answer. The best hardcore song is.
Oh gosh, they have so many.
I know.
Above the Law is my favorite one. I love Above the Law. You should check it out.
Above the Law.
Yeah. I know the story from the singer. I'm not going to say it because I don't think he tells people, but it was awesome for that song.
I love You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, or You Can't Kill My Rock and Roll. That one.
Yeah,
That's
that album is
Can't Kill My Rock and Roll. That song just slays me. It's one of those ones that's like every time I hear it, it inspires me to hell yeah. You can't kill my rock and roll.
yeah. We were
It's
at
too damn important to me.
Rock and all the different footage they had for that. We were there when they
Yeah.
were recording all that stuff, and they caught it in the video so perfect on all these different rockers together supporting each other, and
Yeah.
they're amazing dudes. I hope one day to share the stage with them too. So
I think it's probably going to happen.
we're excited. Recently, Yuke, the singer from Hardcore Superstar, shared our single on Friday on his Instagram with 19,000 followers saying, "Check this out." I was like,
He's into it.
I can die now.
Can you tell me, actually, that's curious, like something like that happens, or you play a gig. Can you immediately see on Spotify or something, okay, I'm following the metrics and we got a bump here. We converted this amount of fans from this show and this brought this many eyes. So do you immediately see kind of the results of your labor?
You definitely get like ads on like Instagram, like people adding, like start following you on Instagram. And there was definitely like a spike in streams out of Sweden.
Yeah, which will help.
And actually, I mean, it's hard to say, you know what I mean, because they have like fans all over the world as well.
Yeah.
So, but like
we've been growing big time since we started. Ever since we announced last Friday, our Instagram numbers have been going nuts. So maybe it has to do with him too. Who knows? I mean, we've almost doubled our Instagram. I mean, it's pretty pathetic the number we have on Instagram because man, it takes a while.
It's like all kind of new though too, because like it started off with like the Sweet Corvette idea.
Yeah.
And we were just like cranking out song after song. And I think we had like 6 songs out there. And then Matt's the one's like, we gotta like
take it on the road,
take this show on the road and like start doing some live shows. So like, yeah, March was our first live show.
Even though we'd had
Sweet Corvette.
Yeah, we've had it released stuff for like a year before that. Yeah. But yeah, it took a bit, you know, it always takes a bit to like commit to like, let's get together, rehearse these, get it tight. Let's make it a real show. I mean, we don't have anybody helping us. So it's not like some bands have managers and stuff like that. We don't have that. We don't have a label. We're doing it all ourselves. So it's a lot of, you have to say, okay, I have my day job and I'm going to put a whole bunch of energy into trying to make Sweet Corvette happen and run.
You got to get the Corvette.
So we had to get an EPK, all the electronic press kit, you know, all the things that you need to do, or you're not going to do anything, you know? So it takes time.
So then how
many hours a week are you able to put into the band?
Well, we get together as a band and rehearse for probably about 6 hours a week, just on the weekend. And then the rest of the time, it's like, I set aside like 30 to 40 minutes every day to do something for the band myself, even if it's just like, I mean, I want to do it too, because it's like, okay, say there's a band I really like or a festival that I really like, I'll go in there and start talking to people that support that festival or work with that festival. Just remind them that Sweet Corvette's out there too, you know, because maybe one day that's pretty much what it is. And sometimes they'll add you back or whatever. And then, you know, maybe one day we'll go play that festival or something, you know, it's putting in the work. Yeah.
And pretty much everything, like I have a guest house behind my house and I basically did the full soundproofing, dialed it in. That's where we're at right now. It's called the Shred Shed. And that's where everything's been recorded outside of the drums. Some of the drum tracking was done other places. So this is very easy for me. Like I don't have any idea like what the new shows are on Netflix or Apple TV. Like I see people that have you seen the new? I'm like, no. Because like once my day is done, I'm like back in the Shred Shed.
And he'll do like content and stuff because he'll do like little videos and stuff. You have to be a content creator now, which is probably a little annoying, but if not, I'm just like back here working on new songs, the next song, whatever, recording. So
how many songs do you want to put out in a year then, like ideally?
Good question.
I mean, right now we're at what I would consider like an album. Like we have 9 in the bag, which these first 9 songs I feel like are just the feelers that we're putting out. You know what I mean? I've been doing them in banks of 3, and like we're kind of seeing what people like the most, and like we're basically deciding the direction of Sweet Corvette. I mean, it's all very similar to what Matt and I have been doing for years, but
as we bring in different players.
I feel like the first 9 is like kind of like that. We're doing it the modern way. It's like not like we're just putting out the album like the classic way, because everybody's just like cranking out singles right now. So we're kind of just taking that route. But we might take the 9 that are done now and do like a run on vinyl or something people can buy from us. Maybe even a CD. We'll see if we can bring those back too.
I think people are buying cassettes again too.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're jumping on everything now. I mean, it's crazy.
Don't get my car sweet.
But so when you guys, as you learn and grow through this process, I mean, recording singles, I mean, is it a change in mindset? Because I mean, I know for me, like I love albums. I think about albums, and it's just like, do you have to change your mindset to be able to be like, oh, okay, we're going to release singles. And then how do you choose which singles to release? Because I mean, your next one is Party. I mean, that one obviously makes a lot of sense. Is it just what you have finished, Joey?
I'm trying to keep everything like I'm like constantly writing. So I have like slow song, like I have a lot of stuff going on. Like what's being released right now is like what I feel is like cohesive to what would be like our first album. So that's kind of where like I think of it going, is like we can put these out in a package, you know what I mean? So
yeah, we played a show on Friday at the 3 clubs at this Nick Stock Festival. And it was the first time playing Footrace, and everybody went nuts for it. And it's nice because now our set's to the point where it's like we can go bam, bam, bam. We had to take a little bit of space to talk in between, but it's better for not to have the music stop and just play song after song, and then maybe a little talk, song after song. So now the set's really becoming full on energy in the show.
It's interesting. I was just having this conversation with Jimmy Waldo of Alcatraz about the pace of the show, and now you come and and bring this in. So it's interesting now to think about a rock and roll show and how it's paced, and the singer not just stopping and talking for like 2 minutes in the middle of the show. And so interesting how that's just coming up now.
Yeah,
and it depends on how long of a set we're doing. We did a longer show in Vegas. We can drag it out. We have our interludes and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, we added like intros to songs, a little bit different kind of feel, and then bam, we go into the song, stuff like that. That's fun to do too.
But Footrace is the pace it's a high pace, like 192 BPM song. So we're kind of holding that one off till the end, because there's nowhere to go from there after you just rip their heads off at 192 BPM.
Is there been a song which typically gets your biggest crowd reaction up until Footrace?
Pop Machine.
Yeah, it's my second favorite song of yours. I like Call the Doctor. I thought that was fantastic. But yeah.
I'm glad.
Call the Doctor does well too.
Yeah. I think they're all bangers. So
it just depends on the crowd too, because like TV Tonight is a lot more tongue-in-cheek, funny, like kind of poking fun at everybody. That one just came from me, like constantly being asked, "Did you see this show?" No. I'm like out there working on songs and stuff, so it's kind of taking a poke at people just like
sitting on Netflix too long,
sitting there staring at TVs, and like that's all they got going on.
Which brings the question: did you actually, Joey, see Nikki Sixx? Like, did you?
That was that's from Jumpin' Jeff.
Yeah, from Jumpin' Jeff. Yeah.
That song is about a friend of mine, Jeff Talley, Jumpin' Jeff Talley, actually. He's in Australia. And he did. There's a story behind it I can tell you if you want.
Well, we love stories. I mean, that's what we're here for.
Jumpin' Jeff was playing drums for the Alibi. This was back in the day, probably
2004.
It was about 15 years ago. It was
maybe
between 2006 2010, somewhere around there. And he was out on the street, and my dad at the time my dad had a construction company. He used to build stores in the mall. He was still back in Ohio, but they would travel like up and down the East Coast building, like, it was the same store. Every store in the mall looks the same. So he was building all these stores, and he got a call like to build a store in the mall out here, which he would never do. But me and my brother were out here. So my brother had no job. My drummer, Jumpin' Jeff, had no job. So we basically just told my dad, you got to hire them. So they're like working for my dad, sweeping floors. And Jumpin' Jeff, he was always all over the scene, like at the Whiskey, at the Rainbow, all the time. Like he lived up there. And he had met Nikki Sixx on a couple occasions. And they're in the mall working for my dad, and they look over the railing, and this is out in Thousand Oaks, and Nikki Sixx is walking through the mall
before it opens.
Yeah, they let him in early or something, and Jumpin' Jeff sees him, and I got this story from my brother, and he said Jumpin' Jeff leans over the railing and he's like, Nikki, and he looks up, and if you knew Jumpin' Jeff, he looks like a maniac, and he looks up and he's like, what? And he's like, it's me, Jumpin' Jeff, and like starts running down the escalator the wrong way. And Nikki Sixx just bolts the hell out of him. You don't know where he went. He like probably went and hid like in the security office.
He's like, nope.
He was like, there's a maniac on his way down the escalator the wrong way, ready to kill me. So that's where I saw Nikki Sixx at the mall came from.
But Jeff really.
When I heard that line, I laughed so hard. Oh, it was amazing.
It's fun to do the gang vocals live on that too.
And I do.
You gotta get the whole crowd chanting that with you.
Yeah. Now, hopefully one day that'll happen.
When you like say like which songs people react to live, actually, I feel bad that I didn't mention it, because I mean, multiple shows I've when we're done, like random people just come up to me like, "Did you really see Nikki Sixx at the mall?" Like,
yeah. Even you, Parkour Superstar, showed me his playlist to work out to. He's like, Jumpin' Jeff's on there, and I'm like, you telling me these things? I'm like, my mind is blown. He's like, I didn't even know you were in the band until. He's like, I found the song somehow, and he's like, I didn't even know you were in the band. One day I'm looking at it, and I'm like, wait, is that Matt? Awesome.
So then when it comes down to the writing of the songs, Joey, is it like mostly you, and then you bring it to the rest of the band?
Yeah, pretty much. It's so far.
Yeah.
We're working on a bunch of new stuff that we're like all kind of like these first Unstoppable's a cover, but the first batch has been like my little brainchild.
Yep. And now that we have all the musicians in the room together working on everything, just things start to happen.
Yeah, there's more stuff coming.
Yeah.
So
it'll just like anything else, it evolves. So
because I love like writing a whole song myself, but then like when it comes to like recording it, there's a lot that I can play, but I don't ever want to play it all, because I'm just like bringing in Matt on the bass. He's just going to do things just a little bit different enough that we're like, you're really making something different happen.
Yeah. So, and we need the shredder like Lewis. So
Lewis is there ready to shred at all times.
Yeah. And I mean, it must be nice to be able to have the band, close by each other. I mean, how far away do you all live from each other?
Other than Lewis lives about an hour away, but everybody else is within 30 minutes. So yeah, 30, 40 minutes. So
that's yeah. I mean, when I think about LA traffic, so that could mean like 3 to 4 blocks. Yeah.
It's literally probably 18 miles away.
I'm in Atwater. I don't know if you're familiar with LA. I'm in Atwater Village, which is kind of central. Like I'm like right by Los Feliz, Silver Lake, just north of downtown. And like Matt lives west of me, Lewis lives east of me. So I'm like it's good that the shred shed's right here in the middle. So everybody can just zero in and get over here.
And we're right around the corner from where the Beastie Boys used to produce all their stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you could ever get any like catch something from osmosis, for that, then that's worthwhile.
You might hear it one day.
Yeah. It's like literally 5 doors down from my house. That's G Sun Studios. Beck did Odelay over there. They did a bunch of stuff over there.
Oh, is that would the Dust Brothers have done a lot of the stuff then?
Probably
through there, yeah, because they worked on
Beastie Boys.
Odelay.
They bought the building in like the 90s. That's when they were doing like all the Check Your Head and all that stuff in California. It was like right up the street from me. So
Atwater Village.
So when it comes to music and stuff like that, how much is LA just how much does that seeps into the music?
I don't know. LA is tough. LA is tough because there's a lot of clubs and there's a lot of different styles of bands. And so I know a lot of people think of like the Sunset sound, but it's more indie nowadays out here than anything, especially in your neck of the woods. So
I think you're actually pot. When you're listening to Sweet Corvette, there's a lot of Ohio.
Yeah, it's more Ohio.
Because that's where like all my my brain was formed in Ohio. Like it was like an Akron, Ohio thing. Like I grew up in Massillon, but then I lived in Akron, and like that's where started my first band, started playing shows, doing it all there. So
what was that, Mayday, all that stuff?
And you like we can go through the list of bands out of Akron, and it was like Chrissy Hine, Devo, the Black Keys. I mean, it's a different
Marilyn
attitude.
Manson went to my school. So, I think I was in
it's a very
7th or 8th grade when
it's a very different attitude towards music there.
Yeah.
People just do whatever the hell they want, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly the way I look at it for Ohio. Everything was so stuck behind. They never really got pushed on popular music in Ohio. Like when we were growing up, at least. I don't know what it is now. But so everybody kind of just like had a lot of time on their hands and would work on music, whatever they felt like making. So they weren't really like in LA, or lots of big cities. It's very much popular music is pushed very, very, very hard to everybody. So if a kid's going to be making music, he's going to be, or she would probably be making whatever is popular at the time. We didn't really have that. So we just kind of made what we wanted to make. So
yeah.
And then do you find with these shows that you're getting a lot of like repeat customers and people are coming to see you more than once?
Yes. Yeah. At first it was 3, now it's 7. No, I'm joking.
Well, you got to start somewhere, right?
No, it is. And especially when we did that like whiskey show, it was our first show as a band playing, even though we'd had that music out for a while.
But yeah, there was a lot of people that had never even seen the Alibi, like our old band or anything, that had heard the new music and were like excited about it. So
yeah,
the response
by similar style music, or the totally different, or is it?
It's somewhat similar.
The Alibi was similar, but
this is more. This is like another level as far as musicianship. So yeah. But we already have the one weird psycho stalker dude that like messages.
Awesome, good. I mean, you're moving up in the world then.
I felt that was important. I guess you have to have that. My wife's like, don't give him any information. He seems to like know too much already.
Like they're scared of him. I'm like, if he hangs around long enough, we're going to write a song about it. Nobody's safe around here.
Any plans to try to like latch on to a national tour?
Yes. And we've already been in the talks on that. It's probably too early to say anything, but probably this time next year, we'll be doing some European stuff. I have fingers crossed. I have the people making it happen. So
And we did a showcase event in Vegas, Memorial Day weekend, which was like Matt booked that. That was a amazing thing. We made a lot of contacts because I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Juliet's Not Dead. Who else was there? The Far Worst. It was a great Nikki Stringfield. It was a great event that we played out there.
Yeah, Nikki Stringfield.
And the guy that booked he's putting a lot of tours together. Like,
yeah, and we made friends with the guys from Juliet's Not Dead. They're from the UK, and they have like a #1 album in the UK. So, and then they're playing it with us, and they never come to the US. So it's like for them, it was. They had an amazing production, amazing show, the lights, everything, all their production. And it was so awesome to see them in such a smaller venue at this showcase of international artists. And it was awesome that we got invited to that. And that's, Jimmy Bernstein from Kicking Valentina.
Is on the cruise?
Yeah. In front of me. The reason we got that gig was because we're buds with him. And the guy that helps them out with a lot of their booking, Jimmy gave them our name personally, saying these guys should be at your festival. So it's friends helping out friends.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, that's interesting to hear that. And you seem such a prime example of like being able to network and connect with people and then have it actually help out in the end.
And so you down here.
Yeah, that's how I got.
Yeah, that's right.
You guys are helping us out big time.
Here we are. Here you are talking to a couple of idiots from Canada. So I mean,
you don't know where to lose you.
Home Canucks,
right?
Hosers is what we prefer. Hosers. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember talking to Brett there and saying, I told you a little bit about my band, and we were just. That was just the vision around that time. I think the day I got off the cruise, we played the next day at the Whiskey with Eclipse.
That's right. Yeah, with Eclipse. Yeah, I remember that because I was just thinking, like, how do I get over there? Yeah, I keep thinking about how I'm going to manage to get over to see you guys, and then it's just like everything seems like a day off. Yeah.
It was really cool because a lot of the guys that were like from Australia or people that were going that direction anyway came to the show. Like Roy Hollywood and all those guys that cracked me up out of Australia, they were there. It was like another reunion from the Monsters of Rock family. So, but I remember I was giving you the vision. I don't know exactly what I was saying, but I was giving you the vision of what Sweet Corvette was going to be doing when I said, when we get this all together, I'm reaching out to you. So, and I did. So appreciate you bringing us on.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, of course, we enjoy your music and definitely enjoy talking to you. So, why don't we give you a chance now to tell everybody how they can keep up with you, where they can find you, and all that stuff.
Okay. So all social media platforms is just at Sweet Corvette. Mm-hmm. We got that dialed in. I can't believe nobody else.
It's unbelievable. Nobody else had it.
Sweet
Email. Corvette. Every single social media, everything.
We got
Sweet Corvette. Nobody else had it.
Yeah, so we got we're mainly on like TikTok and Instagram. There's also a Facebook, but everything's just at Sweet Corvette. And we have the Unstoppable single coming out tonight at midnight. So Friday release. And
I know this will probably come out later. Tonight is what is the date tonight? Today?
It drops the 27th.
The 27th.
Yeah, you'll beat this show then.
And then we have Party. That'll be July 11th.
July 11th.
That one gets released.
Okay, this will be out before that.
Yes.
So
this will be
we'll get in between there.
We have some shows coming up. We have, I should have wrote this down. We have a show at Redwood Bar and Grill downtown, which did suffer a lot from the riots. They had to shut down. So we're hoping that
we didn't know that show was going to happen because like where they were rioting downtown LA, it was like in front of the Redwood Bar and Grill. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I hope that stops and I hope the Redwood's still there, but they're back up. They're back up and running.
Yeah. So I did a big, huge social media push to remind people that these clubs they had a curfew on top of it for a while so they couldn't run their business. So we have a show there. It's going to be our pre-4th of July bash. So it's on July 3rd. So, and then we're playing on July 18th at the Universal Bar and Grill. That's right down the street from Universal Studios. And then August 9th, we're doing the Laceration of LA Festival. And it's going to be interesting. That's our guitarist, Lewis, who's in the metal scene a lot. It's a huge like metal festival. And somehow we're on there.
You'll kick ass.
It's going to have
people will dig it.
It's going to have a huge metal headliner, which I'm not allowed to say yet. But it's in the metal world, it's like, wow, we're going to be sharing the stage with. I mean, when I say metal, it's like dark metal. So but anyway, and then September 30th is the Crazy Licks direct support show at the Whiskey A Go Go. So those are what we booked right now.
That's in the
awesome. Well, I hope that we can drive some fans to you guys and keep getting your shows out there. But we really enjoy your music and love talking to you. And I know for a fact that we will talk again.
Yes, awesome. Yes, we're best buds for life.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys. And like I say, we wish you nothing but the best in the future.
Thank you. Nice talking with you guys.
Thanks for taking the time.
And you. Oh, yeah, for sure. Bye for now.